Okay, I'm very excited right now because Frank, I get to ask you about one of my favorite movies of all time, The Wrath of Khan. What
Ooh.
did you think of The Wrath of Khan overall?
I liked it. I know there was a bit of context missing because I didn't see the actual episode with Khan, but I still liked it.
Yeah, did you feel like you needed more context with the original episode?
I mean, the context was kind of simple. Guy got stranded on planet.
Yeah, I think you're right
Yeah.
because
Smart guy got stranded on planet.
Ultra
Yeah.
smart guy.
Ultra
and,
smart guy.
and stranded. I don't know if that's. He was exiled.
Placed
He's a bad
upon.
guy.
Put there.
He was put there.
yeah, he was put there.
That guy.
But that's cool because
Anyone get stranded and like maybe it was an accident. You know, it was
But
accident.
someone can strand someone else.
I'm going to go in Frank's defense.
so true.
I think stranded is good because Kirk left him there. No one ever came back to check
why
on
he was-
him.
That's why he was mad. That's like the entire reason.
Exactly. So I
but he
think
was-
Frank's word
Yeah.
is appropriate.
But he was left there because he was a bad guy because he tried to kill Kirk and take over a ship. See, we need
But
to
he
watch.
he was stranded there.
He's right.
but it's funny because like
I'm not getting in the middle of that.
I also like I watched this movie my entire life, but it was only maybe in like high school when I saw the original episode. Up to that point, I had only watched it without the episode. And I felt like I think Frank's right. It's pretty simple to understand. He's there, he's on the planet, he's angry that Kirk never bothered to check on him. But what I always find funny, I guess you'd have to go back and see the episode, but he is pretty hyped about being there at the beginning. He's like, yeah, I'd rather rule there. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. But I love this whole, was he stranded or was he marooned there?
I think he was
Which is,
stranded.
he was stranded. I love that. This is awesome.
Okay,
So
we're
did you?
gonna watch this really. We're gonna watch Spacey really soon.
Well,
Okay,
oh,
cool.
so he-
Also, because it has the best line by delivered by Dr. McCoy ever. Well,
It
either
does.
choke me or cut my throat. Make up your mind. It's the best.
That's his
Jeez.
coolest line. I still think gosh darn computer console is the best line.
Okay,
But yes, but you're right. The throat, you should kill, or I can't remember. You do the line, Adina.
Well, either choke me or slit my throat. Make up your mind. And then
So
it was
cool.
like, it'll be most effective if you cut the carotid artery. And I might not have gotten it perfect. But
No, you did really
Sorry.
good at DNF from memory. That's as I recall, that's about the whole sequence.
Yeah.
And it's done beautifully because basically McCoy is calling his bluff, like saying, do something, you're not going to kill me. So leave me, let me go.
yeah.
So
And could you
have-
guys?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, could you guys hear the Alexa in the background? Because I have programmed her to respond to computer. So now when I say it,
It's
it'll
fantastic.
respond. I love it. It's so cool. But she
Hello,
was going off.
computer. Oh, but you got
Ex-
headphones on. You can't hear it. They can't hear
Computer,
us.
No.
Order
No.
something.
I can unplug it. I was
Order
watching
the
First
most
Contact.
expensive sushi in town for Chris.
Exactly. Thank
Order
you.
First edition phaser.
Oh,
Yes.
Ooh, I'm down. But Frank, did you have a favorite part in the movie?
Okay, I have a part that I don't know how to describe it. It's like, okay, I'll just say it's my favorite. It's when like Khan like puts those weird bug
yeah.
thingies
Right.
into their ears.
they're
Oh,
pets.
Captain, they
They're
put
pets.
animals in our ears.
It's creepy, but I like it.
That's cool because that used to scare me. I remember like I felt like I was a full adult when I could watch that scene and not get scared because I as a kid didn't like it. So kudos to you for enjoying that scene.
I know people that will not watch Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan because of that scene.
Really,
Mhm.
Yeah.
they're
Darn.
pets, not entirely domesticated.
Exactly. That's perfect. That's actually the line.
And
We're
not
getting
the-
we're getting
Yeah, I know.
Not entirely domesticated. We're not domesticated. That was his.
That was his line.
Okay.
oh,
this
yeah,
is
it's
good
funny.
because we're getting theater from Adina
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well. We're not just
yeah.
learning what Frank thinks. We're getting a bunch of theater from Adina. This is great.
Okay.
I'm not an actor. Just I don't play one on TV.
But you know something? That sequence with the earbug,
Mhm.
when we were kids, we used to scare each other by saying there was a certain bug that had little pinchers in the back and it would crawl in your ear.
Oh, those the silver fish.
Yeah, like that. And yeah, so we used to terrify and terrorize each other by saying, "Oh, yeah, it's going to crawl." If you go camping, they crawl in your ear. And so I really think that they based that whole sequence in the film on on an urban myth.
We call there's a little bug called earwigs.
Yes,
Oh,
the one.
earwig.
Is that what you're
Earwig,
talking
that's
about?
the one.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah, we've got those
exactly.
here in Ohio, and
Uh-huh.
that's what I think of every time is, ooh, what if that was a little bit bigger and would crawl inside my body and ooh.
That's not
Mhm.
I'm
fun.
gonna call them the earbugs for right now. Does
Earbugs.
anyone know what they're actually called?
That's a
Oh,
good question.
they're called this. I thought they were just called like city alpha eels or something
Yeah.
like that.
It's
But
the
I
only
don't know.
indigenous creature of this
Creatures.
planet.
They're young,
Indigenous.
enter through the ear and wrap around the brainstem.
Yeah.
As they
Cerebral
grow.
cortex.
Oh, you're
Which
No,
right.
the
causes-
cerebral.
Which causes suggestibility or something like that.
Extreme
Yes, I was-
suggestibility.
Extreme.
Extreme.
But
Yes.
I was
Let
gonna
me
ask.
I was going to ask you a question, Frank. But when it crawled out of Chekhov's ear, did that seem kind of strange in the storyline? Because the way that Khan talked about them, they never left you.
Yeah.
That's one of the little things when I know they wanted to get Chekhov back to normal, but it's one of the little things going, no, why would it have left his ear? That's always a
Two
question.
things were kind of weird in
Okay.
that scene.
Mm-hmm.
One, if I don't remember his name, if that guy hadn't shot himself, he'd been fine.
Good question. Yes.
Would it like, I think so, because you can hear it. You're right, because you can hear the noise like it's coming through the ear. But I always suspected that it's because Chekhov was so loyal to Kirk that he just fundamentally couldn't do it.
His body just expelled it.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like one of those things that, okay, he's Chekhov. He has so much loyalty to Kirk that he can't possibly do it. Whereas,
Adina, you just answered the question. Thank you.
Doesn't mean
Yes.
it's
Accept that.
just like,
I'll accept it for full points, not just half points, full
Now,
points.
did you notice any other kind of like, were there any other aspects of the movie that you're like, I don't see how that's possible, or like things that didn't make sense to you plot wise?
just a small one. How does like Kurt just pinpoint, like perfectly snipe it from like how many feet away? Like 5?
Oh, yeah, that's a good part. A good point.
He's that
Kirk.
good.
He's Kirk. He's Captain Kirk. He's like
Isn't he
He's
Admiral,
perfect.
sir?
He's always right.
he's a legend.
Isn't he Admiral?
Well, yeah.
Yes, he was to start with that film. He was an admiral.
So Frank is correct. Yes, he's Admiral Kirk. Admiral Kirk.
Admiral Kirk.
Okay, Frank, do you have a line that you could quote?
If we sorry, Chris, if we ever do a reenactment, Adina's got Khan down. She's gonna have to be our Khan if we ever do this.
But
But
I
I want to be
wanted.
McCoy. Can I be McCoy and Khan?
Okay.
Can you be
Of
McCoy?
course.
Can I be Khan? Because I can do
Okay.
the "We are one big happy fleet." Kirk. I want to do that. But Frank, did you have a line that you really liked, or that you want to be able to quote perfectly, like the way we're trying to do it?
Just one
Probably
word.
like the extreme suggestibility one, because
Oh, that's a good one.
makes me sound smart.
Yes.
Around the cerebral cortex.
Yes.
Sound smarter.
Yes.
When you mentioned brain parts,
Brain parts.
brain
yeah.
parts
Yeah.
make you sound smart.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
I still think of
That's logical.
of that when I hear the cerebral cortex, because that's where I first heard about it, was that speech. So I can't not think about it. So yeah, if you master that speech, you can sound really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can just, when anyone frustrates you, Frank, beyond belief, and you were so angry, you only have to yell, "God!"
And people
And
get
you
it.
feel so much better afterwards.
Yeah.
So
It's getting a pillow.
I have a question because I took him to see it at the 40th anniversary. But I think over life, he's probably seen it a couple of times, but maybe a month or so before the 40th anniversary, I was wearing my Kobayashi Maru shirt and he asked about it. So I made Frank, we just watched the key scene. So we watched the first few minutes of the movie to understand that, and then came back to when Savick was asking about about it. So we watched some stuff. So my question is just, what do you think about the Kobayashi Maru?
I think it's like I think they should actually make it like passable, like hard to pass, but passable.
But but the point is that it's not. That's the point of the test.
What?
So how can you make a pass? You know, if the point of the test is not passable, but to see how you react, then you can't make a passable test.
But Kirk did.
Well, no, he changed the conditions
He
of the
made
test
it passable.
for him, not in general.
Okay.
Gotta come with original thinking.
But I understand, Adina, you're right, because the point of the test is to see how you deal with the failure. But Frank has a point. It's like, isn't there a point when people are just like, well, you can't pass it, so why even take it? Like, why waste all this time and equipment on a test that you can't win? And then Kirk doesn't even learn the lesson from the test because he cheats from it. And he only learns the lesson in this movie.
Which is the irony of it, I think, for this film. And one of the great, you know, we have the incredibly fun scenes on the Genesis planet where he's eating the apple, and
I love it.
You realize days were actually hours and hours were minutes, whatever, you know, and
I don't like to lose.
And he's got that, you know, he's gonna cheat death again, and he's gonna have a way out of this situation. And I think that makes the end scene at the movie with Spock in the chamber dying all the more powerful. That was a beautiful setup to like, here we go. Here's Captain Kirk. Now, for the first time, Kirk has lost for real something that he can't get back. And then there was the search for Spock. But
get it back.
Right. I think that's, you know, for storytelling, that was beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I think storytelling wise, you're right. It's absolutely perfect. It makes sense. It fits the story. But from a practicality, I think Frank has a point. Like, what is the actual point if no one can possibly pass the test? And why are they all still doing that? Like, this thing gets damaged repeatedly. I think every day it gets destroyed or something like that.
Why'd they give Kirk, like, they're giving him, like, congratulations, you cheated. Like, why?
That's a good point,
Well,
Frank.
Well, it's given he had, you know, he was the first person to kind of think outside the box, you know, that whole original thinking. So the idea is, because you're going to go into some scenarios, you know, so in real life, in their real life. So they graduate from the academy, they go off, they become a captain, a commander, or whatever, and they're going to face some scenarios that they've never faced before, that possibly they can't get out of. And so knowing, because again, we want them to get, you know, could get out of him. Starfleet wants them to get out of him. So how they handle themselves with the possibility that they're not going to get out is important.
Well,
so
one thing you can say,
they're going to die.
Well, but you don't know. But the thing is so you might go in, they might go into a real life scenario thinking that, oh gosh, this is the no-win scenario, but maybe maybe like that thought that it is a no-win scenario could be detrimental. So if they believe they can do something, I don't know.
well,
if they're
my own
taught,
train of thought.
if they're taught that, like, okay, the Kobayashi Maru, it like can't win it. You have to fail it. Then they go into an actual scenario. Like, then they're gonna think, oh, I can't win it. I'm gonna fail it. And that's how they were taught, so they're not going to think anyway else.
Well, the thing that still kind of gets me is like how, you know, so Saavik acts like she didn't know this was a no-win scenario.
Yeah,
like how, you know, that doesn't seem possible.
Can I bring it to a real world situation in that, Adina, you know that whenever astronauts are training for a particular mission, either to performing on the ISS or on the space shuttle missions or even the Apollo missions, they were thrown curves in their training process to be prepared for something going wrong with their equipment, something going wrong with it. So think of that as a Kobayashi Maru, where they are going to throw the unknown at them to see if they can handle the unknown.
Well,
and if they can solve the problem. If they can't, at least it's happening in a simulator, but not in real life.
But it's a solvable problem, right?
Yeah, well, we don't know. I mean, that's the thing is when we throw unknowns, for training purposes, we like to believe that all of those are solvable problems,
But what if they're not?
Well, they could, right, but no, we're not with the Kobayashi Maru. They're deliberately testing them in a way that, there is no way to win. So we're
How
just
are
gonna see
you?
if they react.
Here's a way that might help us understand this, Frank, is that we see this played out in all sorts of drama, not just science fiction, but we see it in Star Trek too, where the captain talks about the trauma or how much it hurts their heart to have to send a crewmate to go fix something in a certain part of the ship. Oftentimes it's engineering or in a Jeffries tube or somewhere, knowing that person's success may cost them their life. And
Right.
so what this test is doing is seeing how these people can make hard decisions too, and how they'll react emotionally to that, and how they'll still make decisions they have to make. Because that's the hardest thing to do, right? Is to send somebody off to save the ship, to save everybody else, but they have to lay down their life. That's a super hard decision for a commander to make. And that's one way I view the Kobayashi Maru too.
I agree, but TNG did a better version of that test
With
when
Deanna Troi.
where she was like she was forced into a situation where she had to order Geordi to his death to save the ship. See, that seems practical. That's a lesson you're learning. Okay, sometimes you have to make the big call to do it, but it just seems like the Kobayashi Maru, there's no option to.
Well,
to
what
do
does
that.
Frank
Here's
think
what they
about
might have
that?
done is
Yeah,
the
that's
Deanna
right. We're all offering experience.
I know.
That's right. What does Frank think?
What does Frank think? Yes,
Well, he's
indeed.
gotta watch
Not
the Deanna
Brian
Troi
or Chris
episode
or
now, too.
Steve. But what is? And I think, Frank, what do you think?
Maru.
Mhm.
I did like in a. Why can't I remember the name of it? Star Trek that was like new. Star Trek Prodigy.
Oh,
I liked how he like tried tirelessly to complete the Kobayashi Maru, but like every time he just failed, and then
I
eventually.
remember that. Do I have to? I remember when they were doing the time warp one, and they had to do all of it. Okay, I guess I gotta go back and watch Prodigy.
I think is that first season Prodigy?
oh yeah, I think that's first season. That's the one
think
where
it
they
was
bring
first
back like Odo even and all those classic characters. That's a good episode.
I go back and watch that.
Yeah, like they have. Yeah,
Mhm.
they have
But
all the
I
original
wonder, I think Frankie might be onto something that is like this idea that everybody knows you can't fail it, except maybe you can beat it. And it's one like because like his attitude in that episode is like he knows that he can't win it, or he's being told that he can't possibly win it, but he keeps trying because he's convinced he can. So is it like you take
no,
that
he was-
mentality?
He was only told at the. He never.
Oh,
never knew
you're right.
that he was only told at the end that the Kobayashi Maru is a no-win scenario. He was only told at
That's
the
right,
end.
I remember that.
Oh yes, okay, you're right. Yeah.
Well, and that's
Good
the
call.
Deanna Troi at that one. She was never told that was a Kobayashi Maru. It was a version of the
Was it
Kobayashi
really?
Maru.
I don't think it was a version because like there
Well,
was
I
a
don't
solution.
remember that. I don't.
Because-
I need to go back and watch it.
The solution, again, the no-win, it was still a no-win scenario. Like a win scenario, you don't order your colleague to his death. So
Right,
yes,
but you
it-
still
it-
save the ship. But I think no win is
Right.
like the way they describe no win is like your ship gets destroyed, everybody's
No,
dead.
no, I don't think so at all.
Oh,
The no win is you're supposed to, the win is you're supposed to get everyone out alive. Because like again, in the Kobayashi Maru at the beginning, oh my God, we need
Okay,
to talk about this in a whole other
because
episode because
yes, because
yes, I should
the
shut up.
problem.
What are we
But
talking
the
about?
problem is Kirk loses so many people in the series, and it's just like, oh, okay, well, I didn't really know them personally.
Frank's
But
learning
Frank
a
needs
lesson
to-
in our tangent
Yes,
part of our
And-
podcast.
you're getting a really good lesson into
Can I go
podcasting
back
world
to
with our
something?
tangents.
Can I go back to something that Frank did bring up?
Yes.
He brought up the fact that Kirk was commended for having cheated the Kobayashi Maru. But have you let Frank watch Star Trek 2009 yet? The very first of the JJ films.
I don't know if he's watching. I mean, I don't think I've either let him or not let him. It's just was it on and was I rewatching and him around? So I don't.
You'll watch that. You'll watch that when you do, Frank, and you'll see that Kirk does not get the accolades.
But
he's
that's again,
punished.
it's different, Kelvin timeline. Yes, it's a different
Right.
version of it. Yeah.
But that's where you have a different version of
Yeah.
the same event, but a different outcome.
So
as Frank
Frank's homework list is getting longer and longer.
See, I always assumed that I always assumed that Kirk also got disciplined in the main timeline, but it was just eventually they were like, okay, you know what, we actually like what you did.
Well,
But there was like a bit of a wait between when he did it, and then they're like, well, we're gonna have to review we're gonna suspend you, we're gonna review it, then we'll get back to you.
that's possible. We don't
Yeah.
know.
I just realized something, guys. I have been picking my teeth with a toothpick throughout this portion, and I forgot we're videoing, not just audio. I can do that when we're just recording. So that being said, I think we should end this portion of What Does Frank Think, so that I can sulk and get over being embarrassed that everyone's going to see me pick my teeth with the toothpick. All right.
Okay. All right. Just now you're making me want. No.
Do you have any last words, Frank? What before that you wanted to add about Wrath of Khan?
I don't think so, but we should do an entire one just Kobayashi Maru.
I agree. Let's do it.
I like that.
Good
Pretty sure
idea.
more than half of this was
Kobayashi Maru.
But that's the whole basis of the movie of
All right.
dealing with loss.